I am the author of 5 books in the spiritual genre, and I'm also a level 2 QHHT practitioner, which is short for Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique, which is a hypnotic technique developed over many years by Dolores Cannon. Now, in a QHHT session, clients are induced into the deepest level of trance, called the theta level. And then there's 2 parts to the session. The first part is a past life regression, and the second part is contact with the client's higher self to get the answers to the questions that the client will bring with them to the session. If you'd like more information about QHHT, please visit my website, which is Garnet Schulhauser, QHHT.com. Now, before we get into the serious topic of today, I'd like to relate to you a funny story I heard recently. It seems that one day a police officer was dispatched to a home based upon a 9/11 call that they had received from the person living in the next door. Well, the police officer goes into the house, and then he comes back out, goes into his car, and calls the police station. He says to the sergeant, "We have a very interesting case here. Apparently a woman shot her husband because he stepped on her newly mopped floor." Well, the sergeant says, "Have you arrested her?" And the cop says, "No, not yet. The floor is still wet." Now, today I would like to relate to you a very interesting past life one of my clients had recently in a QHHT session. Now, past lives can be a life of a human on Earth or another animal on Earth, or they could be a parallel life regarding a life in a parallel universe, or they could even be a life as an alien life form on another planet. We never know where it's going. These past lives are chosen for the client by their higher self. Now, today's session, it's about a past life enjoyed by one of my clients whose name is Susan, not her real name, but a very intelligent young lady who easily went into a very deep trance. And when she came off the cloud, she found herself standing on a gentle slope beside a cave entrance nestled up against a small mountain. As she gazed across the scene, it was a very broad savanna with open areas, clumps of trees here and there, and this went on as far as she could see. And she noticed off to one side was a herd of triceratops. And they were just gently grazing on the leaves and the trees in one of the bushes. But my client said that she was not frightened because she knew that they were herbivores and that they posed no threat to her. She said that she was wearing a skimpy garment made of animal skins and crude sandals on her feet. My client said that she lived with her tribe in the cave that she was standing next to, and she guessed that she was probably in her mid-teens. Anyway, when she was moved to an important day in that life, she found herself at basically her wedding ceremony, and she was to be married to a young man from another tribe. She had only met this man a few days before because it was an arranged marriage, arranged by her parents and the elders of the other tribe. So because she didn't know her future husband very well, she was a bit apprehensive, but then assumed that because he seemed to be kind and handsome, that she really prayed that it all would work out. We moved her forward to another important day in that life, and here she found herself in this cave holding her newborn baby, whom she obviously loved very dearly. She handed the baby to her mother and left with a group of other women who were to leave the cave and go into the savannah on a foraging expedition to pick fruit. So she left the cave with these women, and they were busy in one of the clumps of trees picking luscious fruit and filling up their baskets. Everything was fine until they heard a blood-curdling roar from behind them. They turned to see the head of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, a T-Rex, slowly emerging from the trees. Well, they immediately dropped their baskets and ran as fast as they could back towards their cave. they knew they would be safe in the cave because the entrance was too small for a T-Rex to get into. So my client said her heart was pounding wildly and her lungs were almost bursting as she sprinted towards the cave entrance. Just before she reached the cave entrance, she heard a spine-tingling cry. She turned around to see that her good friend Ina had been caught up in the massive jaws of this big T-Rex. My client was distraught, but she knew that she couldn't do anything to save her friend, so she and the other women snuck into the cave and got away from the T-Rex. My client obviously was overcome with grief. She had lost her friend in such a horrific manner. But she got some relief that night when Ina came to her in a dream. And Ina assured her that she was alive and well in the spirit realm, and she told Susan that she should stop grieving and get on with her life. Well, the next scene that we moved forward to was basically Susan's deathbed. Susan said that she was laying on a bed of animal skins, and that she basically felt that she was dying from old age. She was there with her husband and her 2 children, who gave her great comfort, but they were upset because they knew that she was slowly passing away. But my client realized that her time had come, and she was not upset about the prospect of dying. She knew it was time to leave, and so she felt basically at peace. When she took her last breath, she found herself hovering above the scene with her family below her. Her only regret was that she was not able to communicate with her family to tell them that she was alive and well in the spirit realm and that they should stop their grieving because she was doing just fine. And then she noticed a spirit hovering nearby, and to her pleasure and amazement, it was her old friend Ina, who had come to escort her to the spirit side. So Ina approached her, gave her a warm, loving hug, and then led her away towards a bright light up in the sky. When Susan came out of trance, she said, "Thank God I don't have to worry about fleeing from preying dinosaurs in this life." And then she said that she was pleasantly surprised to learn during her session that Ina, her old friend who got eaten by the T-Rex in that previous life, was now her sister in her current life, and she was quite happy about that. Now, some of you may say, well, this past life couldn't have happened because humans did not exist alongside dinosaurs way back when. And that's based upon the fact that our scientists, anthropologists, archaeologists have not found any evidence of humans living back in the time of the dinosaurs. But I know for a fact that humans did live among the dinosaurs, because in one of my trips to the spirit side, we went into the Akashic records with my spirit guide Albert, and I saw a scene there of a human civilization that did in fact live among the dinosaurs. And unfortunately, they perished when the asteroid that hit the Yucatan Peninsula, obliterating most of the dinosaurs, also wiped out this human civilization, and it was buried under many meters of lava, and no one has yet discovered the fact that they did live back in those days. But my trip to the Akashic records clearly confirmed that there were humans living among the dinosaurs way back in Earth's history. The other factor is that Susan could not tell whether her past life with the dinosaurs was on Earth, or maybe it was on another planet. Maybe it was even in a parallel universe where Earth had developed differently than our own Earth. So this was just another example of a fascinating past life one of my clients experienced during the QHHT session. Well, that's all for now, folks. Thank you for watching today. Enjoy your journey, and remember to keep on dancing.